5 years ago, I was broke. I lived paycheck to paycheck and I had no savings at all. Last year, I saved 10,000 euros on a low income. And in this video, I'll tell you exactly how I did that. Hello, you lovely people, and welcome to another video. My name is Coco and I like to talk about living a happy, sustainable and meaningful life. If that is at all interesting to you, then you're more than welcome to stick around. Step number 1, define a goal and write it down. A thought in your head is only a thought in your head, but if you write it down, it becomes real. Chances are much higher you'll succeed with your goals if you write them down. So at the beginning of each year, I write down how much money I want to save. And I make sure I write down why I want to save that money. Saving money just to save money is not a motivation, it's greed. So I write down why I need that money. For me personally, it's retirement. But for you, it could be totally different. Do you want to save for a down payment on a house? Do you want to save for a new car? Whatever it is, the more motivated you are, the easier it will be to reach your goal. Step number 2, know your income and know your expenses. That sounds so basic, but it is so important. Around Christmas, I had a conversation with someone from my extended family. And she told me that she has no idea how much money she has in her bank account. And even more interesting, she has no idea how much money she makes. She doesn't know her exact salary. For me personally, maybe the situation is a bit different. That lady I talked to has a fixed income. I am a freelance worker, so what I earn each month varies drastically from season to season. I need to know how much money I make every month just to be sure I don't overspend. But everybody should know how much they earn. And equally important, you should know how much you spend. I track all of my income and my expenses with a simple Excel sheet. Every month is divided in 2 different sheets. On the one sheet, I sort every expense according to the category. Groceries, eating out, toiletries, whatever it is, it goes into that Excel sheet. They automatically add up in each category and all together, so I always know exactly how much money I have spent so far. On the second sheet, I track my income. Because I have different jobs, I have different columns for that. And from the income, I deduct automatically my expenses. I update that several times over the month, so I'm always sure that I don't overspend. I recommend tracking your expenses over a few months, so you know how much money you spend in each category on average, and also you see exactly if you maybe spend a little too much in some categories. Step number 3, monthly and annual expenses. Now that you know all of your expenses, you can have a closer look at your fixed expenses and deal with those first. Please separate here between monthly and annual expenses. I add up my monthly expenses in an extra column in my Excel sheet and deduct these monthly expenses automatically from my income. Therefore, my Excel sheet shows me how much money I can spend after the monthly expenses have been deducted. Then look at your annual expenses. You know, stuff that only comes up once a year, like your car insurance or the costs of a dental cleaning or the annual fee for your local library. Whatever it is, add up all of these annual expenses. With that, we get to step number 4, set up a sinking fund. A sinking fund is a marvelous idea. It basically means that you add up all your annual expenses and then you divide them by 12. Each month, you then set aside that amount of money into a separate banking account, your sinking fund. And each time one of these annual expenses comes along, you can just take the money out of the sinking fund and you will never ever be surprised by these expenses again. Step number 5, revisit your goal. Now that you know all your monthly and annual expenses, and now that you've set up your sinking fund, you know how much money you have left for other spending and for saving. Now look at your goal again. Is it possible to save as much as you want once you have deducted all your expenses from your income? Be honest with yourself. Step number 6, set yourself a monthly budget. The easiest way to do that is by deducting your savings goal from your income, and that leaves you with the money that you can spend. I'll give you an example. Let's say after deducting your monthly expenses and your sinking fund from your income, you are left with 1,500 euros a month. You know that you want to save 500 euros a month, so you deduct that from the 1,500 and then you're left with 1,000 euros. These 1,000 euros are the money that you can spend over the month, and you have to divide that by different categories. Groceries, eating out, toiletries, and always include also the category fun. If you do not spend any money on fun stuff, you will not stick to your budget. Believe me, I know. Step number 7, set up a savings account. Separate your savings account from your regular bank account. Make it as hard as possible to get to that money. That in return will make sure that you do not spend it on shopping anytime you're tempted to do so. Step number 8, be kind to yourself, but also be honest. It isn't always easy to stick to a budget. Sometimes a birthday party comes along where you suddenly have to get a present, or you forgot about an annual expense and that all messes up your plan. It happens. Give yourself some time and be prepared to adjust your system a few times before it works. But also be honest with yourself. That expensive dress you saw in the shop the other day is not a necessity and it should not mess up your budget. Step number 9, stick to the budget. That bit is hard, but it can be done. Over the years, I have found a lot of strategies that help me to stick to my budget. But honestly, that would be a whole other video. If you're interested in such a video, please leave me a comment down below and I will get to it as soon as I can. Step number 10, be proud of yourself. Once you have found a system that works for you and once you start to see successes, be proud of yourself. Give yourself a pat on the back and reward yourself. Not with a cruise to the Caribbean, with something small that you will enjoy, like a lipstick or a book. It's important to celebrate milestones. That will make it easier for you to keep on going. And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings us to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, up here is another video that you might enjoy as well. If you like, please like, subscribe or comment. That would really make my day. All right then, thank you again, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!